Couch of Thrones, yeah.
Welcome to Couch of Thrones.
I'm the only one enjoying a Dornish red.
You are.
Yep.
We're still mourning the White Walkers.
The white.
Yeah.
Fair.
So this is a show where we talk about our fantasy league that we're in for Game of Thrones that we do through Fantasizer. We talk about our standings in the league, and we talk about the show and what we thought.
And we do it live.
We do it
where
live.
I try to keep up with you
Yeah.
on Facebook, on YouTube, sometimes on Twitter, to make this a more interactive sort of review, where it's
Yeah.
not just us talking the whole time. Because our standings in the league matter to us, but not as much as the show.
Yeah. Really, we like talking about the show, and we like your input. So yeah, write questions, comments, strong feelings, of which
Objections?
There were many a strong feeling about this episode on the interweb today. And certainly we've been trying not to talk about it until we got on the couch.
It was hard.
Hard, yeah.
Just like save it for being on the couch. But yeah, so it's the 4th episode in the 8th season. And it was an odd one, I think. I don't know we'll find out how you all feel.
Yeah.
It's called The Last of the Starks.
I gotta tell you, last week, completely disappointing me with how abruptly the life versus death storyline died. This episode didn't give me any problems, because I was resigned to the fact that it was going to be about mortals squabbling over bullshit. And that's exactly what this episode was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, like, I was happy that the Night King stuff was taken care of last episode. Like, last week's episode was very controversial as well, because people who were attached to the sort of supernatural aspect of the show were disappointed that that was over. People who liked the political intrigue of the show liked, it was like a very divisive.
Yeah, I'm like pretty excited for the rest of it. Like
Me too.
I feel good that the Night King is done and we're done with the White Walkers and we can move on to what I liked about the show to begin with.
But I felt...
And what most of the show was about anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but did you feel... I felt let down by the script last night.
Yeah.
I really did. I felt like what we're seeing happen is a kind of breakdown of the show that makes me a bit worried about the next 2 episodes.
See, I felt like that about everyone except Sansa.
Really?
She was the only one I was like, okay, like she's still playing the game. Everyone else is completely checked out except for her.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. We're going to start out with a bang here, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about, there've been a lot of conversations today about the misogyny of the show. Now, this show, from the beginning, has not hidden its misogyny.
Yeah, and the books don't either.
No, it is like a brutal world, and even though it's a fantasy, it somehow exists in a very patriarchal system like ours.
And it's written by men, largely.
It's written by men.
yeah.
It's written by white men. And I think that what we're seeing happen now is they've sort of backed themselves into a corner, because I think when you don't involve women of color, people of color, women in your show more, things start to happen where you start to deal with certain issues, and the way that you write those characters really rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Because I don't think that they are able, and this is me being very generous about Benioff and Weiss, I think. I'm not sure they understand how some of their writing comes across to women.
Okay.
I don't feel that way about every moment in the episode where people had some issues with that, but I do about certain moments. I think the moment with Sansa that I had, I think that moment for me is tricky, because I think what they were trying to say, and again, this is me projecting, I think what they were trying to do in that moment where she basically says, if I hadn't have been raped and tortured by 2 guys, I wouldn't have become this strong woman that I am, paraphrasing. I feel like what they thought they were doing there was having her talk about her own strength.
And that she's overcome adversity.
Yes, but the way they wrote the line didn't actually communicate that.
So, yes, I agree with you. I think what they were also trying to do was mirror what Jamie and Bran were talking about last week. Where Jamie had said, like, I'm sorry I threw out the window, and he's like, well, don't be, because that's who I am today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, it was sort of them doing the same kind of thing.
I get
but
it,
with
yeah.
Sansa's situation, it didn't look nice.
And the odd thing is, it worked for Theon, despite the fact that he went through maybe the worst thing anyone in the show endures, like as a viewer to watch.
Yeah,
you see it.
right. Because you don't see it happen to Varys.
Yeah, you don't see it happen to Varys. You don't watch the Mountain rape people to death, but he fully does that.
Yeah. Right,
so,
right.
like, you've got these characters that endure horrible things, and I think these dudes are more comfortable writing men who go through horrible things, and they're more effective at writing men who go through horrible things. And they've got a blind spot here, and they don't know it.
Yeah, because I don't think they would ever have had Theon say, if I hadn't have gone through all that, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Like, I can't imagine Theon Greyjoy ever saying that, and yet I think it's very easy for them. And I think this is actually like part of a bigger issue we have in storytelling, where I think for a lot of, not just men, a lot of women as well, so this isn't like exclusive to men. I think we all like grow up here, like, we all experience stories in the same society, so women also learn how to tell these stories. But I think often when people are trying to show villains and victims, and it has to do with women and men, we still often show that through sexual violence. And I think the show really fell into that trap for way too long, where it was like the only way they could show a woman being weak was to have her be sexually exploited or abused or assaulted, and the only way to make villainous men was to have them be have that relationship with women. And I think that what we're seeing now is just the fact that they played that out so much. And now, because I thought I love Sansa. I think she's like so smart. I think she's the one who knows what's actually going on, and I actually liked that moment of agency for her. But I hated that it felt like it was, in a way, not excusing, but kind of pushing aside what had happened to her.
Kelly Kennison says, I felt it did communicate it. I just felt that the entire situation was so distasteful that we have an aversion to the subject.
Okay.
I mean, we did watch some horrible things go down for her. And for seasons, it felt like.
Yeah.
So I think Kelly's got a good point there.
Yeah, I mean, I felt lots of different ways about it. So I understand the different reactions. What were you going to say, Wendy?
What I mean is, like her telling John's secret to Tyrion. Like 5 minutes later.
Right.
Like you were into the scheming right away.
Well, she learned from some real schemers, man. Yeah.
It's also her strategy though to say, okay, if I'm going to tell this knowing what he's going to do with it, because that's going to keep her from the throne. That's a move. That's an actual move. That's a tactic in the game.
Yeah.
So if she keeps the secret, then Dany's safe. So she doesn't. She knows that.
Unfortunately, she tells Tyrion, who tells Varys,
which
means
I think everyone's
gonna know soon. Yeah. But Tyrion doesn't really. Yeah, we'll get to Tyrion. We'll wait on Tyrion. But let's go back a bit. We sort of jumped to Sansa, but I'm glad we did, because I really love Sansa, and I actually like what they've been doing with her, for the most part. She's one of the more, I think, more interesting characters this season. So let's talk about the opening. Let's go back, because I think we should talk about
the pyres.
The pyres. It was very moving. I was very moved.
My bowels.
Oh! Snap!
Somebody was not into
it. You were not into it.
No.
What didn't you like about the pyres?
Too many dead people. Too many people died. I don't think that many people died. I think they were burning like dead White Walkers.
See, I was alarmed that so many people didn't die.
Yeah, me
because
too.
Later on, when they're like, "Oh, we lost half the Unsullied," it looked to me like they lost every last one of them in Winterfell.
I mean, we were talking earlier about like White Walkers dying and how they turn to dust and if they don't.
Right.
But we sort of established that the dragon didn't turn to dust, but we didn't light the dragon on fire.
Which is interesting because...
what happened to
the dragon body is probably not easy to haul all in one piece.
No, like they would have had to cut it up.
They probably chopped it up, but they didn't want to show you that because they don't have any money left for this season.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it costs so much money.
I guess.
But I think what's interesting about the aftermath of this battle, I really liked the scene in the Great Hall. I loved the sort of watching everybody let loose because it allowed a lot of characters to just
It was very
enjoy.
like fan fiction-y.
It was very fan fiction-y, but moments of it were great. Moments of it were not. Like, I mean, I'm really happy that Jamie and Brienne finally, consummated their love for each other. But like the way it got there was terrible.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah.
You are a virgin. Like that was like almost like schoolyard teasing.
Yeah.
And then she stands up to take a piss. Jamie follows her. Some time elapses.
Yeah.
He comes with wine, hammered, drink a lot of wine. Like, it was all wasn't smooth.
I don't think they needed a game.
They didn't need a game.
To get into that. Like, it is very obvious that these two people for a
That's right.
long time. I mean, it's the slowest burn of the season.
Yep.
Their love.
Yeah.
Like, it's like. So I felt like, what is this ridiculous game we're playing that isn't even flirtatious? Like, I wouldn't have minded it if there was like flirting in it.
Right.
But there was like one of the guys kind of vibe where it was 4 dudes.
That's right.
Acting the way 4 dudes would act. And I think the idea of her being a knight even gave Jamie and Tyrion that impression that they were just having a drinking game with another friend. And I think, as someone who tends to get drunk with my brother, and when I do, I have a hard time being mature, but I do my best to stay mature.
Yeah.
I revert with my brother, and I definitely revert with my brother when drunk. So I think there's something to be said for that happening, and it being believable in my experience.
It was certainly an attempt at levity after the stress of the battle.
Right.
And there were other opportunities. Like, Tormund's levity felt a bit more levitus. Levitus. Yeah. It just felt a bit more like his drinking and the like. It's not drinking if you don't vomit, or it's not celebrating if you don't vomit, and
John
like
and
throwing up isn't part.
That sort of thing was like that was funny and that was nice, but you're right, that scene around, and I get they were trying to continue it and then dovetail it into a night of passionate. Non-sister sex for Jamie.
That's a hard segue.
Non-sister
sex.
Maybe that's why he was so weird about it, because there was a question at our house last night about has Jamie only been with his sister? Like, when he was out fighting, did he ever?
I don't know.
I feel like Jamie's
plundered.
gotten around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but his game was
plundered.
his game was a little.
Isn't that how they would describe it? These 12-year-old boys who fight in.
I wonder if he's made the 8.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh god. I mean, I just think it didn't need to happen.
No.
I get what you're saying, Matt, and I think that, like, again, I just think that, like, everybody doesn't become like a 12-year-old boy when they drink. I just wish that somebody wasn't in that. Like, I wish that not everybody, like, it's such a tender thing, and, like, I wish they had given it.
I don't know that any of the people in that, I don't think either of the Lannisters were going to treat it tenderly when they were together. And I think that's the thing. You're right. It's tender. But Tyrion, in the way that I think people give Daenerys too much credit and think she deserves to be queen, I think you might give Tyrion too much credit and think he's smart and good at everything.
He's smart. I think I guess he was drunk.
He was drunk?
I guess.
But he's always
drunk. I'm sorry.
These days, this is news.
He's pretty
More drunk.
kind. Like, he's just more considerate than that. But I guess maybe he didn't realize. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was crass and kind of not earned.
I have to say, I did love when everyone left and it was just Tormund standing there.
Yeah.
With a smiling pod. Was like my favorite. Was like peak pod for me.
Peak pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Less
then Pod took off with 2 ladies.
I scored big time.
Well, and you got
Really
points
good
for.
I got points.
You got points?
I got points for Tormund because the way our draft works is most of the characters we know and love, but then there's a handful of characters that are, like, rumored that they're going to be on the show, so they're in the draft. And my last draft pick was some woman named Willa. No, it wasn't mine then.
You got
Willa. It wasn't even me.
No,
That's right.
we got Willa.
Sarah.
Some
You got
random
points.
woman, we got points.
Yeah, you
5
got
points
5 points.
for lovemaking.
Lovemaking.
It's only 5 points.
Or no, 5 points not for
yeah.
lovemaking, for the come on.
For the
5 points for the come on,
Oh,
not the
okay.
act,
Because
not the
there's
physical
points.
act.
There's points for come-ons. There's
That's right.
points for sex, and there's also points for sex with blood relatives.
Right.
And with Jamie heading south, I think there's some
I
hope
know.
for that.
No, he's
No.
not. He's
She
never.
put a bounty on his head.
They're
Yeah,
never
it's true.
gonna fuck again. That's what I said.
That's
They're
sad.
never gonna fuck again.
But luckily, John and Danny might.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blood
he
relatives.
pulled away when they were
Yeah.
making out last
Of course
time.
he did.
Not that
with
quickly.
every
He
right.
he was in there for a bit.
Okay, it's
Yes.
getting heated.
That's
It's getting
true.
heated. It's getting
It's
heated.
true.
Yeah.
So let's talk about John and let's talk about
John
that
and
scene.
Danny.
John and
I
Anthony.
think John and who?
Aunt Danny. That makes it so much
Danny.
worse.
Auntie Danny. Listen, Targaryens don't have a problem
Nope.
with it.
It's
but
just the Stark side.
do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can't blame them.
Yeah.
For that, for the fact that it's like all of a sudden you're thrust into this whole other relationship.
Yeah.
You're
Thrust.
You're thrust.
No
Oh,
pun
boy.
intended.
Sorry.
No, it's good. So I mean, I think that there's a lot of stuff happening with John that I just do not understand.
Like what?
Like, I don't understand why. Is he really so love struck, or is he afraid of her? This is what I'm not sure of.
I think it's a mix of both.
Because the fact that he is not actually being more assertive than he is, like there's a game being played here. He's being, I don't like it. I'm in a full disclosure here. Like 3 seasons ago, I stopped liking Daenerys and thought she was a terrible choice for the throne. So like all of this like love of this character who's going to, she's terrible. She's not a good ruler. She was a great conqueror. She was a great colonizer, which I don't think is something to be celebrated.
She's
And-
Robert Baratheon all over again.
Well, she's not Robert Baratheon, actually. I disagree with that.
No.
She is
a different kind of like bad ruler.
but yes, I don't think she should rule, but I think she had some merits. I don't know where they're taking her now. But like she's just terrible. She ignores everybody. She does not make space for people. She's playing the game so badly now.
But do you think it's because, like, Olenna Tyrell said, like, you're a dragon, be a dragon to her a couple seasons ago?
No.
When she was like, okay, like, because she was listening to people for a while,
That's when
right?
she kind of stopped caring what her advisors said and
Yeah.
started like going out to do the things a dragon would do.
No, I
Yeah.
refuse to, tarnish the legacy of Olenna Tyrell by
Blaming this bad
suggesting
work on her.
that Daenerys' poor choices come from
But
from that.
she's making choices. What's John doing? So I think I was reading something today about how John's bumbling his way into every position he gets.
Yeah.
Including, he's like Mr. Magoo or something. Like,
Yeah.
he's walking, he's like, okay, I'll be on the throne. And then, like, that if that's how this ends, I think it's a really impossible task to
I
end
don't
this
think
show.
this is
I don't
how
think
it
anybody
ends.
gets on a throne at the end of the show. I'm pretty sure the only use Drogon has at this point is to melt the throne. Because there's not going to be a throne at the end of this.
But even if he
It's
melts
just-
the throne, someone's still in charge. This is just a
I don't think there's
physical-
going to be a monarchy.
Is
in
it time
place
for hot
anymore.
takes, or should we wait the hot take?
Listen, this
We-
is a
we
free for all.
haven't
This
even- we haven't
episode was
even
so
counted our
stressful.
points. We haven't even taken out our dead.
This is so stressful. This episode. I feel like it's a free for all. Where are people chiming in? Are there
Yes,
things
well,
happening?
what we've got going on here is Tim is wondering what we think about Sansa being the one to end up on the Iron Throne. I could see her being
love.
the queen in the North.
Yeah.
I could see her being the minister of the North in a parliamentary system where she's in charge of
Yep.
that.
Said that
But
already.
I don't see her leaving the North again.
No.
I think she's like, now I'm here.
She's here,
I'm
yeah.
not going anywhere.
She's like a dire wolf.
There must always
Yeah.
be a
Doesn't
Stark
belong-
and Winterfell.
And
doesn't
she will be
belong.
Death Star.
Yeah, because all the other ones are gone or
Not really
the Three-Eyed
Starks
Raven
anymore. Yeah.
Interesting.
Erin is also saying she thinks it's possible, and maybe with Tyrion, as a response to Sansa being the one on the throne.
I think it might
So-
be Tyrion.
I think it might. If anyone ends up on a throne in a throne-like position, I think the only person I can see doing that right now is Tyrion.
I don't know. I think it makes the whole show a waste of time if anyone's on the throne at the end.
Perhaps, but
yeah,
it's
I
since we're
don't think that's true, but I see how like it's maybe not as satisfying. I don't know.
I'm gonna say that I think Cersei ends up on the throne, and I'll say why. So the night before the battle, when Tyrion said, "I think we live," and they lived, all of them lived in that
Right,
room.
yeah.
Last night in that wicked scene with Varys,
Loved
he
it.
said, "Or she could just kill us all and
And
make
then-
this easier on us."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
True.
that's said with the same line, maybe even
Mm.
the same camera angle, maybe.
So he's rich with prophecy.
So I
is
think
mine.
that
Ah.
Tyrion, I think that would, and if this has a happy or a triumphant ending, I think I'll be disappointed. I know that's a really cynical and bleak ending, but hot take.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's a hot take.
It's a real hot take.
I know you disagree.
Real hot.
Hot. So hot. It's
Steaming take.
It's evaporating
That's right.
into the.
Yeah.
Wendy.
I don't like it. I don't want that to happen.
I don't like it.
But not because I don't think it could happen, but I just don't want it to.
But don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so getting to this sort of hot take section, and like in general, I want to say like I think what's happened is never have we had a show, this sort of monoculture of a show where everyone's tuning in and it's still such a force of nature in our culture where so many people are invested in what happens and have different ideas of what that is. And I think what we're seeing in the fandom is a breakdown of that, where there are some people who are just like, it is affecting them so deeply that the show is not going in the direction they want.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I had the opposite happen where I checked out after the Night King died. Where I was
because
like,
you chose the Night King first?
no, I think choosing the Night King is because of what I wanted to see happen in the show.
Yeah.
And then, as you can tell, I'm the only person who has no number one draft pick. That's because my number one draft pick was the Night King, and he did.
Yeah.
So
We kind of have no number one draft pick. Brand's been useless.
he wants nothing.
Brand's been a real letdown
He
for
doesn't
the
want to
team.
like
First
everything
overall.
better.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dang.
But yeah, I feel like because the big epic magic and like existential threat of the show is done, I'm okay with what's going on because this is more or less what is left over when that problem goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Last night I was really worried that I'm never going to see Sam and Gilly again or tormenting Ghost.
Probably
Ghost. I mean, Ghost has been really, I think, mishandled this season.
I think Ghost has been mishandled for the last bunch of seasons. Like, since John came back from the dead, I think we've not seen Ghost.
Yeah.
Kelly asks an interesting question here. She says, am I crazy? Or did anyone hear the cry of a baby during the opening credits when the House Lannister emblem came up?
What?
What?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Kelly.
That requires a rewatch.
We will
I'm
rewatch
curious.
this.
Kelly.
Kelly, you're really paying attention.
Yeah, or your sound system's way better than ours.
Or
Are you
there's
sure
like
there wasn't a baby next door?
yeah, there's a baby neighbor.
I mean,
Yes.
how pregnant is she? I want to say this too. I feel like the time to get to place, like everything's gotten closer in this season. People can get places a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how many? Shouldn't she be like fairly pregnant?
Well, in the first
Yeah.
episode of season 1, they were moaning about the month it took them to get up to Winterfell, and now it's just like zip zap zip 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 zap.
Yeah, like I get it that we're in the last season, so they need to like, you know, get things moving.
But to your point,
still.
they're like baby growing.
Yeah,
should
like
be happening.
help us along a bit. I think because I still don't believe it.
that she's
Whether
pregnant.
she's pregnant.
Yeah, like I know she probably is, but there's part of me that's like, I don't know. They keep talking about this baby. I haven't seen. She's not showing it all.
The
Yeah.
Kraken will rule the sea.
I don't trust
Yeah.
anything about her ever because she lies all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like watching her. I think Lena Headey's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Now, Erin says she doesn't think we're going to see Tormund Ghost again, but she's really hoping. She says we better see Sam again.
I know.
But like what
Where's
at the
Sam?
end in the last scene, he's an old man and he writes, and they lived
And then-
happily
yeah,
ever after,
yeah,
and then they
yeah.
close the book
Yeah,
like in a.
and he's actually Samwise Gamgee, and it's actually like all. It's actually Lord of the Rings. What
Yeah.
we learn is that we just watched Lord of the
and there's
Rings.
like 8 children around him, and Gilly as a older.
Yeah,
they're all
and
older.
they're all hobbits. All
Yeah.
the kids are
Yeah.
hobbits.
Now,
Yeah.
The end.
Tim is wondering why Sam wasn't given the rule of House Tarly. Like, pretty much the whole North, the Night's Watch thing is kind of not
Yeah.
a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted
There's
to be
nothing to watch.
He wanted to be a maester. Does he still want to do that after his?
I think
training?
after his training, after he
good
saw the
question.
limitations of maesterhood, because the maesters didn't want him to cure Jorah, and we know that what that would have been like for me, who loves Jorah Mormont.
Pretty sad.
Yeah, but he died anyway.
How was it
He
watching?
died valiantly.
How was it watching Dany say goodbye to Jorah?
I wept. Everyone, I wept.
She
I
did.
love Jorah Mormont. I love that character. I love that he kept coming back. I know he's creepy as fuck that he liked this like preteen girl who was
from the minute he saw.
yeah,
it.
it's terrible. It's fucking terrible, and I feel badly about that part. But I love him deeply, and I feel like Ian Glenn. I was gonna say Ian Gillan. I'm like, no, not Baelish. Ian Glenn is such he just did such a gorgeous job. I wept. I fully wept. I also was very moved by Theon and the Stark. Listen, guys,
yeah.
I like the sentimental things about the show. I want the show to have sentimentality. I don't want
to
to.
give it too much time, though.
You do?
Yeah.
There's a lot of running time.
I was
on
like
that.
ready to move on.
Are you kidding me?
No.
These are characters from like day one. Like they need to give it that time. I think they could have cut some of the fucking I'm a 12-year-old boy asking a girl
Right.
if she's a virgin.
Oh, and then
Cut
even the
that.
aftermath when
Yeah.
Tyrion's like, "What's she like down there?" I'm like, "Guys, you're going back to that."
Yeah.
Yeah, that well did not
enough.
need to be
Come on.
revisited.
We get
so
it.
Come on,
Yeah.
just fucking come on. I'm sorry, it drove me crazy. But I will say this. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, Kelly thinks that John will end up in the north with Tormund and Ghost. The real north.
The real north.
And
Spin
when
off.
they say goodbye, Tormund said, "You never know." Sounds
Yeah.
like foreshadowing.
That's
Yeah.
Aaron also says, "Still no sign of a Danny John baby."
Bless you. Thank you.
It's not happening.
I don't
Not
think.
happening?
No, I don't think she's
No.
pregnant. I know Wendy. We had this
In
out
two
weeks ago.
episodes?
No, she's not pregnant.
I don't know.
She's dead. She's as good as dead. Everybody.
Danny.
You don't think Daenerys is gonna die?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure she will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna kill her when she's pregnant?
No, she'll. I don't know.
Deliver the Targaryen baby. Like I need
I don't know.
Drogon.
She'll walk out of the fire with a baby.
I need
Yeah, or she'll
Drogon.
lay an egg.
I need
She's
Drogon.
gonna lay an egg.
That's it. I'm out. If that happens,
She'll mate with
I'm out.
Drogon, and they'll have
Oh my
a dragon
God.
human.
you know
Well,
what?
the
Actually,
thing
if
is,
she makes a
dragons-
Drogon, I would be into that.
In Game of Thrones, dragons are
squeaking?
it's this
Oh,
thing
okay.
squeaking like
Sorry,
crazy.
yeah.
In Game of Thrones, dragons are they have no particular gender.
Right.
So I don't know if that means they are born with eggs in them, like flies, where it's just like bloop, 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 they drop some eggs.
Right.
Because I feel like if Drogon doesn't drop some eggs soon, like there are gonna be no dragons again.
I don't think there's gonna be any dragon. I think
Where
dragons
would-
I think
die.
we don't need them anymore.
the end of dragons.
I think we don't need them because the Night King's dead.
And also
Yeah, but they're still good for like sacking cities.
super
and
easy
destroying.
to kill though. That one, Rhaegon.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rhaegal and Viserion both went down pretty fast.
They went down so fast. Like
Well, and the fact that Aegon the Conqueror
Yeah.
took 7 kingdoms with 3 dragons
Yeah.
means like they are mismanaging these dragons.
Well, and Qyburn invented something nobody's had before.
Yeah, that's true.
We have
Qyburn.
to like give some
Crazy
credit
Qyburn.
to Euron Greyjoy.
what the
The scorpion.
the big
They're
old
called
bow and
the
arrow.
Scorpions.
that thing was intense.
Yeah.
Like, that thing
Yeah.
taking out boats like that.
Yeah.
was-
Well, and they decided
Ships.
after the previous season where they had the one that Qyburn built as a prototype.
Right.
This season they made it 65% larger,
yeah.
just for the hell of
and
it.
he sits in it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it's intense.
Oh,
right?
it's like a bomber. Like it's
Yeah.
like you're in the Millennium Falcon. Like the production design of that
Yeah.
Scorpion was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Daenerys is
Done, eh?
I think so.
Aaron says it ends with her laying an egg.
I love the idea. I actually,
Egg theory is amazing.
I'm here to say I think I'd be okay with that if that's how the show ended.
She laid an egg.
Just
laying
that's
an egg.
it. She's like giving birth. It's like
That's it.
it's a complicated birth, and then just an egg pops out. 3.
I mean, if she
3 eggs.
burst to like a little dragon, I would be like, what the?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not how the show's gonna end.
Look, we've been saying that we're constantly. I'm gonna say I'm disappointed with not that my predictions aren't right, but that there's always the thing they do which is almost the least interesting thing they could do.
Yeah.
I felt this the last 2 seasons, and I still love the show. But you go, oh, you had that right there. You could have done that or something better, and you went there. And so
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking at this point, if 3 dragon eggs pop out at the end, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I will say I agree with you about the predictability, but we'll also or least interesting thing.
Yeah,
but
least interesting.
I will say that like I think I wish that this last season was watching the smartest people
That's right.
like fighting against each other to make the best possible Westeros. Like even if they were all fighting against like an an evil Cersei or whatever it is. But I feel like it's just like either smart people making the dumbest decisions where you're like, why are you making that decision? Or people just sort of making questionable decisions that you're like, why are you focusing on that person?
Well, it seems to me like Benioff and Weiss are good at asking questions and building a mystery box
Yeah.
in the same way that J.J. Abrams was. But the problem every time is when you look inside the box. Because when you're watching Lost, it's disappointing. When it's Khan, it's not Khan. Oh, it's Khan. It's a disappointing mystery box in Star Trek as well. Like, Benioff and Weiss have spent 8 years building a great mystery box, and now we're looking inside of it and we're seeing that it's characters working against what we've come to think they will do in order to like dovetail into where Benioff and Weiss need them to be to finish the show.
Right.
So smart people are acting dumb people are acting smart, Starks are being Starks. Like, everyone is acting
Every single episode, Matt has to throw so much shade at the Starks, and the Starks are the greatest.
The Starks are a dumb family. They like there's a hereditary hereditary thing that happens in a lot of families. And the thing that most Starks are good at is being really stupid. Well,
They are not stupid.
Did the Starks go to school? Do any of the Starks?
No, they're just taught by Aemon.
That's
Maester
right.
Aemon.
Okay.
Do not throw shame at Maester Aemon.
If we're going to blame anyone for how foolish Starks are, I guess it's Maester Aemon.
The educational system has failed them. Those cuts. Damn cuts in Winterfell.
But I feel like they are taught about the importance of integrity without anything resembling strategy. And Lannisters are taught about strategy without anything resembling integrity.
That is why they have to work together.
Yes.
And that's why Sansa's going to be so
That's
powerful.
why Sansa, exactly, because she went and she learned from the Lannisters and she learned from the Boltons. Like, she learned from the horrible people who have no integrity. Although I don't want to just totally call Cersei, there's a reason why Cersei is the way she is.
She believes fortune tellers. And making her life hard.
I mean, she had Tywin Lannister as a father, and she lost her mother in childbirth, and like, there's a lot of trauma there. But I just feel like Sansa is able to like harness Stark integrity with like Lannister cunning in a really cool way.
Mm-hmm. And
Aaron Thompson wants to see a Hamilton-style cabinet rap battle.
Yes, cabinet rap battles.
I'd be into this. I would be
that
so
would be
into
amazing.
this.
One thing that you said something really interesting. I think is that last night I found 2 characters were acting really out of character, and I don't know, like Bronn's reappearance or Bronn's whole thing this year. They're really like I know that he's a sellsword and it's always the highest bidder, but the idea that he's just thrown away a friendship, like a real true friendship with Tyrion, that's bothering me. And like
I feel like he doesn't think he was ever treated like a friend. I think he feels betrayed by both of these Lannister like brats, essentially.
But what betrayal?
Because they use him until they don't need him, and then they forget all about him. And they keep showing up on his door. Lannisters keep asking him for favors. Lannisters keep promising him things, and he just keeps being like their lapdogs.
I think he also sees, I think he sees it now as like, I'm being put in this position now, so what am I going to do? And he's trying to get something out of it. I think that is in character for Bronn.
I don't know. It's just he's done this little switch that it's even I know that he's just gone cold. He's just gone cold for me, and he was one of the funnest characters. And even that scene between the 3 of them last night, I thought it was like a potentially really cool scene. Except I felt like it was something in the writing was like forcing him to go a different way.
Really? Oh, I found that episode wonderful, and I forgot that I had Bronn on my team.
Yeah.
So when he was promised Highgarden, I just enjoyed the moment. I didn't even consider the fact that I probably got points for that.
You did,
and probably the more problematic one is the Brienne crying. Don't leave me, Jamie.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I did not find that I take issue with the criticism about Brienne.
Okay.
Because I get it. I get why people want to see these strong women stay strong, but like, I don't know, man. Brienne, for all of Brienne's strength, the thing about Brienne that has always been true as well is how vulnerable and sensitive she is as a person. Mm-hmm. She might mask it because she has to survive, and because she's learned how to do that. But I think she finally was able to like live in a space where she could feel vulnerable like that. And then he left, and it was confusing, and it hurt her, and she cried about it. And I think that actually the backlash about it really upset me, because I was like, it was like the thing with Arya having sex and people being like, well, she was never sexual. Why does she have to have sex? It's like, oh my God. In this world...
Let people grow.
I feel like in this world where we are really hyper aware, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's good that we look at the way women are portrayed and we pull it apart and we talk about it, because there's a lot of problematic stuff out there. And I feel like if you felt badly about that moment and you didn't like it, you have every right to feel that, and I would never take that away. But
Kelly is agreeing with you, saying strong people
So
strong people
by the way,
cry.
I actually like the moment. In the moment, I like it,
Yeah.
and all my reactions have been people like trashing it on the internet.
Yeah,
So I like that moment more than the Bronn moment.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that,
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I don't want to dismiss anybody's reaction to it, because if that was a betrayal for you of that character, then you have every right to feel betrayed, because it was a departure. But
Because the last thing we're gonna do is call this season consistent. Right?
Yeah, but I think I don't like. I just feel like I like it when those characters get to have other colors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I feel
fair.
like I don't like when that gets as a person who loves Brienne, loves Arya, I liked both of those moments for them because they enrich those characters.
Yep.
But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. It enriched them. I think it came a little bit out of left field for both of them. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
glad Arya got hers. Glad Brienne showed her vulnerability. But I don't know. I feel like the extents that it went were a little bit like a hair too far.
Too far. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, she did cry for a long time.
Like a long
I was
time.
like,
Hard
wow.
cry.
She did have a real hard cry. But I think, like, it made sense to me. Maybe I've just been that person. Fuck. Like, I mean, no, but I have. Like, I mean, it felt very real to me. It felt very real when you finally trust someone and you do a thing that is the most vulnerable and open, and you have not lived your life that way. And that person not only leaves you, but, like, in this confounding way, in the middle of a moment that was like, I don't know. I feel like that was actually quite honest. That, I mean, that's just based on my life experience as a knight.
As a
of
knight.
the Seven
The Seven
Kingdoms.
Kingdoms. Yeah.
But yeah.
I like that your experience as a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms has told us about Brienne's truth, and like my experience getting drunk with my brother has told us about Tyrion's 12-year-old boy truth.
Yes.
I think there are people who are going to see themselves in some of these moments, and if you don't see yourself in those moments may not ring true to you. But that doesn't mean it doesn't ring true to someone else.
But I also understand, like, to play devil's advocate to my own reaction, I understand that, like, I too am tired of a world of media created by white dudes who tell us how women feel and who give us, strong women and then undercut them. So, like, I have respect for people who critique it, because I get it. You're tired of having your heroes torn down in certain ways. Mad respect.
By like the worst dude. Like, yeah, he's redeemed himself, but he's gone off to be the worst again.
And then
He's not going to succeed at being the worst.
I know,
because there's a bounty on his head, and the fact that he's going back to see Cersei, who put it there, is insane.
Okay, and to play Jaime's side here, to talk a little bit about trauma, I think too that, like, being in that toxic relationship with her, and he's not a victim of that. He was a willing participant and did horrible things. So this is not to, like, forgive or absolve Jaime Lannister of the terrible things he's done. But I think that there is a thing that happens sometimes when you feel like you are a terrible person, and then you finally get some happiness and stability and some love in your life, and then there can sometimes be a kind of feeling not worthy of that. And I think when he heard that Cersei had done what she did to Rhaegal and had captured Missandei, he thought, you know what? I'm actually a shitbag. I don't deserve this. Now, I think the writing, again, I will go back to the script, I don't think that the writing captured that. I think Nikolai Coster-Waldau was trying to play that, and he's a lovely actor, but I feel the script failed them in that scene for you to actually grasp why Jaime would make that choice. Like, I think that they've done it. They're cutting corners that I think are actually important.
Yeah, and giving us really long drunk scenes.
Yeah. Like,
I gotta say, I'm getting more and more worried about how Benioff and Weiss are gonna stick this landing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. They're not getting closer to it getting better. They're like going further off the X that marks the spot of where this show can land and satisfy the most people.
Yeah. Like, I think an example of this, and sort of something that I think puts all of what we're talking about into play, is the choice to murder Missandei.
Right.
And I think, like, I felt very conflicted about it.
About Missandei's death.
Yes. Partly because, as I said earlier, I feel like they've boxed themselves in where you have 2 characters of color on your show.
And you just killed one of them.
And you kill one of them, and you kill...
Yeah, there she
Oh,
goes.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god, I was
so
falling on me.
I'm so scared.
It surprised everyone, I'm sure.
And I think, like, you kill... I've read a lot of people talking today. I read a lot about, women of color saying, like, here you go, you're killing the women of color to motivate a white woman and a black man. And, like, there's a lot of implications about that in storytelling. And I think... So there's that aspect of it, which I found so regrettable, and I was like, oh, why are you making this choice?
Which is like a casting problem.
It's a lot of
like
things.
an early casting problem. If any other female characters on this show were women of color, you wouldn't be killing the only one you had.
I think it's a casting issue. I think it's a George R. R. Martin originally writing a book where he where he builds a world that is so similar to our world, and then they cast it that way, they wrote it that way. I think it's also an issue of when all of the episodes of your show almost all of them are written and directed by dudes, and often by white dudes. I think, like, that has an effect. Whether or not you feel strongly about this, and I know there are people who really dismiss this argument. I've seen that happen a lot on Twitter as well. But I think you have to, whether you agree that it's a problem or you don't, it's very obviously a thing that is happening. You know?
Yeah. And that itself is a problem.
Yeah, like, it's a thing that is happening that is worth noting. And then how you feel about it comes from your own experience. But I found that troubling. I thought that also, I was like, I get it. I get why she's making this narrative choice. Like, I see what they were doing narratively. But
I think narratively it's very cool.
Oh, it's great narrative.
I mean,
because you're watching Dani go absolutely bonkers.
And she's, like, lost everyone.
She's unhinging.
Whole episode.
Yeah.
And this episode was about how few people she has left in the world. She's lost Jorah.
Right.
She's lost
R.I.P.
Missandei.
R.I.P.
She just lost one of her children. She's down to nobody but Drogon.
Yeah,
at
and
this
Jon
point.
And Jon,
is, like,
but
kind of-
she's
And
like...
she's stepping away from
they're
Jon, who's stepping away from her.
Well, and I think, like, that scene, I will give them real props for the directing. This was David Nutter again, I think.
Yeah.
This is another,
Yeah, this was a Nutter. I did really love in the drunken revelry fanfiction section. I did love her watching how much everyone loved Jon, and how much everybody had friend groups.
Yeah.
Like, there's Jaime and Tyrion and Brienne and Pod, and then even the Hound had visitors,
people who came to see him.
you know. So I feel like I did think that was they did really track her loss, and then I think she really felt Jon pulling away quite deeply. But then again, her response to that, and I'm gonna say this again, trauma. Like, when your life is ripped open as a kid, you're exiled, you're living with your crazy ass brother who is only intent on the throne, will sell you. I get that she has this one track mind, but what it means is she makes terrible interpersonal decisions.
Yes.
Where's Dario at? It feels like she should give him a
He's in the
ruling
like,
green.
hey, I got no one. Like, could you just
Get up here.
How's that
I
guy
need a-
ruling Marine?
Daenerys?
I mean, he's probably doing a better job than Daenerys was.
Yeah, I think you send a Raven, you get him over any problems.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if
Just
at
a
the
friend,
end,
a
like,
friendly ear.
in the last episode, just Dario Naharis
Hey,
shows
guys.
up on
Hi.
Twitter.
What about
Like, Michaela Huisman is like, hey guys, just what's up?
It's like the end of Forrest Gump when, like, Forrest and Jenny get back after all that time apart. He's like, and she's dying, and
Yeah.
Dario
Yeah.
being Forrest in this
Yeah.
extended metaphor.
So what do we think about, so in our league, Tyrion got the MVP this week.
Yeah.
Because he took, he took those steps with all those scorpions loaded to talk to his sister, and I thought to myself, oh, Tyrion, You are so tragic, Tyrion, because you keep thinking that appealing to Cersei's vulnerability is going to somehow...
And it never does.
It never does.
No.
If anything, it pisses her off more because she will not let anyone tell her what to do, and she does not like being vulnerable.
Yeah, because she's like a spiteful child.
Yeah, she's like...
and
totally.
especially when she's dealing with her little brother.
Yeah.
She hates that guy.
She hates that guy. But she won't kill him, which I always
Yeah.
find really interesting.
I don't think she'll kill him until he sees everything burn.
Yeah.
Because he wound up being the one to threaten
Yeah.
Cersei, and then Cersei has gone to see all of her children die. And so she then threatened him,
Right.
and there's happiness turning to ash in everyone's mouth at this point.
Right.
Yeah, but I think she like really respects him in a really sweet way.
There is something between them there. There is a kind of respect. There is something that on both of their parts, which is why neither one of them can kill the other, I think.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
And I think when she told Bronn to go kill them, like she also kind of knew that
wouldn't do it.
Bronn might not be able to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a
about
good pick
Because
if
he
you
had
got somebody who may not
Yeah.
actually pull the trigger.
Yeah. because he's such good friends with both those dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, if she just sent any other sellsword with no relationship,
They would've done
they'd
it.
have a better chance.
Well,
Yeah,
ultimately, so Daenerys is trying to, avenge what happened to her family, and Cersei is on her own family. They have personal stakes in it, but really, it's all born out of this sort of family legacy. Lannisters will prevail, the lion will roar, the Targaryens will, it's still steeped in that. So she still has a sense of her family in all of it.
She said it last, the lions will rule the land and the kraken will rule the sea,
That's
and
right.
our child will rule over it all, or whatever.
Yeah.
And Euron's like, oh,
Yes.
let me touch that belly.
It's not his baby.
Yeah, I think
Euron knows nothing.
Euron can flick that switch.
I wonder if Euron was like, wait, how did he know she was pregnant?
Yes,
Like,
I was wondering that too.
I
Yeah.
thought that too. I was like, wait a minute, Tyrion. If it
But
was
Cersei's pulled this trick over men before.
What, the baby?
This must be your baby.
Right.
Yeah.
oh
she's
yeah,
let this
she's
work
a
out.
pro at the. This must be
Now-
this blonde kid must be your baby.
Yeah.
Robert, that's- come on,
Baratheon.
Robert.
Now
That's-
Tyrion got you MVP points.
Yeah, he did.
Which is good because you pulled all the way to the front of the pack.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm in the lead, friends.
So how many points do you have?
I have
now?
640 points.
And you were at 510.
Yep.
So
I was
you're
in
up to
second. I was
640.
in second place last week by 5. I was over
because Arya got so
because Arya.
many points.
My girl Arya just delivers and delivers and delivers.
Yep.
Yep. Love
Now,
her
you
to
also
death.
got points for the death of Rhaegal.
I did. My poor
And
Rhaegal.
Yeah.
We
One less
affectionately
dragon.
called him Theodore. He's the Theodore of the
Yeah.
Are we sure, by the way,
Simon Theodore.
are we saw him,
He's dead.
He's
we
dead.
saw
We saw him
a
sink.
giant gash in his neck
Hundo
and
Pig.
blood come out
He's
and
dead,
him go
yeah.
under the
That
water.
looked
Yeah.
bad all around.
Yeah.
gone.
He gone. He dead. He dead. My
He
Rhaegal's
gone.
dead. Yeah, I got points. I mean, I always get points. Tyrion always gets me whip points.
Occasionally drink points.
Points. This week I also got Sam got me points because Sam and Gilly are gonna have a baby.
And so that's like a raising of his status.
I guess,
I guess
yeah.
being a dad is
Yeah.
better than
Gilly
being
got
not.
them too.
Yep.
So Gilly's team got those points.
Cool.
Trevor Martin.
So Trevor Martin's team, what's he at?
Trevor's in third place.
Third place.
With 575 points.
575.
Yeah.
Now he was in first place before?
He was.
Yeah.
He's dropped to third.
Okay.
I'm in fourth. First. Matt.
I was in last place last week.
Matt shut
Huge
up.
week. Huge.
But
And
Matt
for
shut
a-
up.
And without the Night King.
And for a beautiful moment, I was tied for first.
Yeah, but then something happened with the points, and he lost 5 points somewhere.
Where
or
did you
I
get
gained
points?
5 points.
Where
somewhere.
how did you make that leap?
I've
last
got
night?
Euron Greyjoy.
You're on great.
Oh.
who
Kill the
has
dragon.
who has a baby now. I mean, is going to claim that he has a baby now.
Yeah.
He killed the dragon.
Not only was Missandei on my team, so I got points for her dying. I also have the Mountain on my team, so I got points for
Oh.
killing her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that might be you might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that worked out. So I'm at 635.
Yeah, 635.
Huge.
So 5 points away from the lead. I'll take it. I was not expecting that after watching my first round draft
Shout out
pick
to the-
shatter.
Yeah. Maybe that's why you like this episode a little bit more, Matt.
Maybe.
It did leave a better taste in my mouth. Yeah, knowing that Euron Greyjoy took out a dragon, because he got more points than I had all season.
Yeah, he got 100. Killing a dragon is 150 points.
Yeah,
so
it was a huge jump.
insane. In fourth place is Jorah Winterbaby, Wendy Fox's team,
That's me.
with 520 points.
520.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are your top scorers?
My top scores, I think, were Jamie
Jamie
for
Bone.
Boning Down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put him down.
Jamie.
I'm so mad about Ghost, though.
I
Like,
know.
I
He's
can't
gotta come
believe.
back.
But like, I don't think he's going to. Like,
What kind of
heartless asshole
doesn't take
like,
his
doesn't
direwolf?
take his dog?
You're not taking a dire. They don't belong there. It's too hot.
They can run as fast as a dog,
Winter
as a
is
horse
here.
can.
It's
gone.
winter everywhere.
I'm not
It's
so
over.
sure it is. I think
Winter's over.
Winter comes with the Night King, and
Doesn't
he
it?
brings the winter.
No, there are winters that aren't just about the Night King. I think.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
so
the long
sure.
winter.
The
I'm
long
not-
winter.
It looked very
the
mild
winter
in-
was
in
the
King's
first
Landing.
was the first time the Night King came.
They're still wearing. Daenerys is still in her furs, so it can't be that warm.
Right, but in
Yeah.
in King's Landing,
Yes.
It's never warm
Everyone
in-
was wearing like short sleeves and
No,
short
they-
pants.
No, they weren't.
No, I know, but that'd be
It was
funny.
pretty warm.
Oh my God,
Everyone's in
everyone
flip flops.
shorts. I want to see
The mountain wearing
whatever's
some
left
shorts.
of the Dothraki in like
Yeah,
just little
or
shorts.
you're on in
Cutoffs.
you're on in cruise wear.
Cruise wear. Listen, I mean, he probably has a cruise wear outfit.
I feel
Yeah.
like because he's always on a boat, it's all cruise.
It's all cruise wear. Yeah, yeah. It's like what's your cruise wear? It's whatever I wear on a cruise.
Trevor Martin is saying that Qyburn should have gotten royalties for that dragon death.
Agreed.
Because his intellectual property was involved
Oh,
in
not bad.
the
Hard
Scorpion.
agree. Yeah,
10%, a 10%
I should have
thing.
gotten that 10% of that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice little taste.
I was so hoping when they showed the arrows hitting Rhaegal, I was like, yes, Qyburn, and then it was Euron.
Right.
I was a good surprise. I enjoyed the surprise.
Yeah, it was a good.
It was a
but
good
also,
surprise.
How did they not see? Like, she
Because
was
Daenerys
flying.
has terrible,
She was
terrible
flying.
tactics.
She has terrible
Over.
sight.
Yeah, she's
She's
nearsighted.
She has glasses.
Yeah.
She
You
also
heard it here first.
she reacted. There was very little reaction. Like there goes my child and into the water. Like there was very little reaction. I know that you were
like,
still
she was,
still
like-
fighting for your life and everything, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. Compare that to
The cool thing about the boats, the ships being impaled, I guess, and
Yeah.
crushed,
Oh, yeah.
is that's all like they shoot that on like in a studio on a rig, and it's like if you watch the behind the scenes of it, the way it's shot is lovely.
Yeah,
I
the way
was
some of that battle damage
terrified.
happens is great.
I was terrified for Tyrion.
Oh It was
my
so
God.
violent.
Oh my god,
Too.
Tyrion! No, Tyrion.
He's so little and they're so big.
Yeah, well, and the fact is like huge, like everywhere he went, it was really well shot.
Yeah.
Then everyone
David
just
Nutter
swims.
did a beautiful
yeah.
job.
And that was a great oneer as
Oh, yeah.
Tyrion's like
Oof.
frantically running
Yeah.
and then lands in the water all in one shot.
And
I did-
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I did think that like the episode was going to end with him running and jumping in the water.
Oh, there were
and
a
I thought
few
it was going
times,
to end
yeah.
when the dragon fell from the sky, and I
Yep.
thought it was going to end when Jamie rode off. Like,
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of false endings
endings,
in this
yeah.
episode.
I will also say that it was some of the most beautiful. Like it's sad, and that this happened right before Rhaegal died. But the dragons looked gorgeous
yeah.
this episode,
Yeah.
like really beautiful.
Now, can we talk about how foolish it is for Dany to have been the reason Rhaegal might have died? Like, the fact that she didn't give him time to heal. The fact that she didn't give anyone time to heal.
She never
Because
listened to Sansa.
here's the thing that drives me nuts. You've got Cersei, who is paying a crazy amount of money. I imagine like weekly, monthly, annually. I'm not sure what these gold cloaks are gold company are costing.
What
her.
the contract?
But
looks
like she's bleeding cash.
Yeah.
To have this army that's not hers. All Dany needs to do is be threatening for like 7 years, and Cersei's gonna go bankrupt. Like
Yeah,
the waiting game of all of my stuff heals up faster than you're going to be getting any stronger. You're not buying more troops. The elephants aren't going to eventually show up.
no.
I hope they do.
It would have been good. The longer they wait, the better chance they have. But I
only
just feel like Dany was paying absolutely no attention to the facts of the matter and wound up doing all of this on her bloodlust.
Yes, because she is a highly she is an impulsive person.
Yeah.
She is now she feels very threatened. She feels threatened that the Northerners don't like her. She feels threatened by Sansa. She feels threatened by the fact that Jon is really Aegon Targaryen. So she's reacting from a place that's very impetuous. Like it's bad. This is what I mean when I say like, how could this person be a good ruler. Because the problem is, like, everyone used to say the reason why Dany would be a good ruler is because she chooses good advisors, but she stopped listening to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't seem. It seems bad. It all seems like bad planning all the time. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think getting to see how Cersei clearly should not be on the throne, and that Tyrion is not really king material, and that Jon Snow does not want.
I don't know about that.
No, the guy is completely delusional that he thinks Daenerys is a good idea.
Yeah, I don't understand why he keeps thinking she's fine.
Yeah, like he's making bad choices.
Well,
at this point.
I think the reason why he's
also
making
a
that choice.
12-year-old when he drinks.
No, I think the reason. Amazing. I think the reason why he's making that choice is because Tyrion is a pacifist at heart. Tyrion wants the fighting to stop. He does not want to see more people die. He wants it to end, and I think that's his problem. So that scene with him and Varys, instead of him, listening to what Varys is saying, which is like,
we need to take out this queen.
Because she's talking about how she's supposed to end tyranny and she sounds like a tyrant. I think that he doesn't want. If they tried to do that, there would be even more destruction. Like, I think he has some kind of delusion that somehow he could avoid more blood, more loss, more fighting. I don't think, obviously that's not true, but I think that part of Tyrion actually was one of the things that would make him a good ruler.
I don't know. He's going for something expedient there. And unfortunately, it's the same thing Daenerys is doing. She thinks the expedient thing to do is to end this war. I've got 2 thermonuclear weapons. I just say Dracarys and it's done. And she lost one of them because of it. And basically, Tyrion was what was in play when Missandei was killed. Like, there was no way out of that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree that there was no way she was going to release that prisoner.
Yeah, she was already dead.
But there was a really great Harry Potter meme that was like, the fact that Missandei didn't just grab Cersei and jump off in that moment, like, miss, you could have saved us all.
Okay, you're shackled.
But she's grabbed your arm, and there's a beast behind you with a broadsword. You know how this is going down. Anything's worth a shot.
No, I think she's not. That wouldn't have been in her character to do that.
No.
Yeah. But it would have been amazing.
It would have been. Again, it's the whole thing where there's a lot of amazing things that could have happened. At every step, there's always something slightly better could have happened for like the last 2 seasons, and it didn't. And you go,
Well, Trevor Martin says maybe Dany's destiny is to break the wheel and not to replace it. Dragons don't build; they destroy.
Fair.
Oh yeah, Trevor, that's a really good point.
And if she takes out basically everybody in King's Landing, yeah.
But then what happens to her?
She dies.
She becomes the Mad Queen. Like, she'll lose her mind, she'll die, and then we replace it all.
I mean, yeah, I'd happily replace it all. Yeah.
With her and Jon's baby.
No.
Or her egg.
They are not.
Yes.
With their dragon baby, maybe. Like, imagine if they had, like, an actual...
A dragon on the throne?
Yeah, just trying to sit there.
It's pretty cool.
Now, how's Bondo looking on his team? He was at 305.
Bondo's in last place
Oh, he went
week
from second last place to last place.
At least we're in...
with 440 points.
At least there's someone we're ahead of right now.
Yeah, Bondo didn't have the best week. I mean, he has Daenerys and Cersei, but they didn't...
He didn't actually deliver on anything this week.
And Varys.
Varys got some points
Varys got points. Varys got points for wit and for drinking and such.
He's gonna kill it next week.
Oh yeah. Bondo.
Yeah, he's got both queens.
Chris
That's
Paul.
Yeah,
pretty-
that's gonna be some serious points next week.
Yeah. So he's gonna shoot up, I think. In 5th place is David and Aaron's team with 495 points.
We're there almost complete. We're even close to Wendy's team because of Melisandre last week.
Well, and
we've been striking out. We got 5 Willow points, which is great.
You got Gendry points. Our guy Gendry.
Gendry promotion
Gendry
and but then sure. We're not doing so well.
I love Gendry. Can you talk about how much I loved that scene where he proposed so delightful, and then also for Arya to be like, to be just so clear about it and just
No.
be like, listen, you're great, but
And he's like,
that's not me.
I gotta
I get
go
it.
kill some
Well, and for her to
people.
say exactly the same thing to him that she said to Ned Stark.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not a lady.
I'm
That's
a
not
lady.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how much Arya looks like Ned Stark.
yeah.
Yes,
in
like
this
young
season.
Ned Stark
Like young
in
Ned
those
Stark.
flashbacks.
If you look at those flashbacks,
The round face, the hair
It's
cut
really
like
cool.
halfway
leather,
up.
like
Yeah.
I love it
What,
so.
what about how
deeply.
much John sounded like Ned in the John's speech?
Mhm.
Did everyone talk about how his voice was
yeah.
like his voice changed
Got
for
very
that
Sean
speech?
Beanie.
Yeah, it was like it was really low.
is
And
probably
we'll
the-
never
that.
forget them. They're in our hearts. And it's like okay, it's too long. We got it.
Was I the only person who was like, he should be turned around and saying it to the people? Because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
just saying it to the dead
The bodies,
bodies.
yeah.
For sure.
Just
I mean,
in case?
it's a lot of. It's like you got to really push your voice.
Project, yeah, just
Yeah.
a little, just turn.
Just a little thing. Just
He's an idiot.
turn around.
But his voice, was, I did like it because his voice did sound.
I
odd.
gotta say, like, I've read a lot recently of like real
mediocrity of Jon Snow?
real just people hating on Jon Snow. I don't hate him. I think like
He's a Mary Sue. He falls
He is a Mary
into everything.
He's like the- yeah.
He falls into kingship. He falls into Lord Commandership. He falls into resurrection. He falls into
But he has
everything. He falls
talents.
into being a Targaryen. Everything is seriously.
He didn't fall into it. He's
None of it is his doing. He fell into being a Targaryen.
But every Targaryen falls into being a Targaryen.
Yeah.
Unless they marry a Targaryen.
That's
And
every
And they
family.
fall into it in another
That's
way.
literally
Yeah.
every family.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
is, so his theory is shot.
I fell
No,
into
it's just
being a
more
brat.
of it.
Like
I
I
felt-
fell into being a D'Agostino.
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's the
What
lot.
happens?
It's your lot in life.
Yeah.
You deal with the hand you
Fell
got.
into it.
yeah.
It's weird how there's this hate on for these like kind of like somewhat iconic. They're iconic characters, Jon and Daenerys, and people like
Yeah.
hating them. And I don't know. I don't see Daenerys' madness yet. It's like it's there, but I think we want it to be
I
more.
think we saw her madness in that last frame.
last frame.
As she was
She's
like,
like, I've told you.
twitching
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
breaking
yeah,
and
yeah.
glitching. Like she's
But
gonna
that's-
lose it.
Her pal.
Yeah,
got
I mean, it's
beheaded.
warranted.
Yeah. Oh, it takes something
Well,
to drive you mad.
I want to say this. I want to say, like, I think sometimes we bandy about the term crazy or mad a lot. I think
Yeah.
especially with women, but I think we bandy it about and we say, like, oh, she's crazy. I think, like, the madness part is just like, does that mean, in this context, does it mean, like, she becomes bloodthirsty and power hungry? I think that's all it means, right? She doesn't actually, like, become psychotic, does she? I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Like that doesn't seem to track at all. for
Because
me.
if she becomes bloodthirsty, eventually she quenches that. If she becomes power hungry, eventually she gets the power.
Right.
But if she becomes psychotic, you're screwed.
They don't have
So-
time. They
I don't
have
think
time.
they
Yeah,
have time
that's
for
true.
that. I mean, I think this Mad Queen thing is just going to be like these two highly ambitious, bloodthirsty.
Trevor Martin
Power
says
hungry
John
woman.
fell into a direwolf and then he didn't even pet it goodbye.
Ugh.
I did
so
love that.
mad about that.
I love that Ghost came into the frame.
Yes.
Yep.
For the goodbye scene, like so melodramatic.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a person; it's like the dog.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like
Didn't even
he
pet him.
deserved-
Tormund gets a hug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he deserved. Like Gilly got a hug.
Later,
and, like
boy.
Sam and John and Gilly are like best buds.
Yeah, but there's no visual effects budget that goes into them
I
hugging.
know.
Yeah.
It's expensive to hug ghosts.
I mean, they couldn't like have. He couldn't even just do this with his hand, and then they did a CGI like just ghosts in with the hand.
I don't
This-
know.
Come on.
It's never
They
very
could've.
convincing.
I
when
like
that
I
happens.
like that Ghost stays there. I'm happy.
They stays in the north.
Yeah, you're not and they had some time apart too.
Wendy's not in.
I'm not.
tonight.
But it's not like they were a boy and his dog the entire season.
Yeah, but like-
you know what I mean? For 8 episodes, he's always been there by him.
Well, like if he
playing
wasn't
fetch,
going,
like,
if he wasn't going to do something,
Why did he die?
why didn't he die?
Or why didn't he turn into a walker?
I have that opinion about
Again,
Tormund. I
always.
have that opinion about
That's right. If you
Ghost.
Yeah,
you're just
like
gonna say goodbye anyway, turn some of these people into
yeah,
walkers.
like make
Yeah.
it more dramatic. Don't send them off into the north
That's
to
right.
go be in the north. Like
Unless
no one's
the
there
Night
anymore.
Queen is in the north.
Matt-
And that's where Nora comes into
Nora,
play.
Nora the
Ephron?
Explorer,
Nora Ephron, the Night
Yeah,
Queen.
I'm hoping.
That's what we're.
But
I'm really hoping.
So there's they don't have enough time for
I
any
know,
of that.
they don't have enough time
There's
for
like a
any-
Night Queen sitting there going, I guess I should go down there now
Like
that
somebody's got to be in that.
now that
Where's
Boo's
my-
dead.
where's
Boo's,
my husband?
Boo's dead. I better get down there.
Because he's not coming back. Yeah, I guess I should go
It's like that old joke,
investigate.
like, yeah, he said he was going out for cigarettes. When was that? 7 years ago.
I want to know like the spin-off shows you want to see. A
Oh.
spin-off show I want to see is definitely the Hound and Arya just
Oh,
on horseback,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
chilling. I know we saw that for part of the season, but
I
now
want
they
more
have
of that.
a totally different relationship.
Yeah.
Like, so let's talk about Clegane Bowl, which seems like they keep. I think it's gonna
We
happen.
could be
They keep
moving towards
foreshadowing
Clegane Bowl.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna give this much fan service that they've given this season, which they've done a lot of fan
Yeah.
service, I
Yeah.
think they got to deliver on Clegane.
But they
Bowl.
mentioned in an earlier season that like he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go kill my brother. Like maybe you could help me," and she was like, "Okay."
Yeah, do you think Arya's gonna help?
Oh,
them?
for sure.
I mean, he's going to need some help because the Hound's going to get his ass handed to him by the Mountain. Like, that's not even close to a
Yeah, the
question.
mountain's terrifying.
The mountain's
what even
just gonna
is
cr-
the mountain anymore?
He's a
I saw this
Frankenstein.
amazing picture of Thor,
what? A
the actor who
Frankenstein.
plays the Mountain, holding a regular sized mug, and it's like a marshmallow in his hand. It's so small. He is gargantuan. He's not a special effect in any way.
No, but I mean, like,
amazing.
yeah, he's become
Yeah.
like a crazy Franken
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, with like a buff. He wears this weird little black thing up
Yeah,
over
yeah.
his
To
mouth
cover
to
his,
cover his I don't know, bad dental work. Qyburn is good at some things.
Not
But
dentistry.
not dentistry.
Yeah,
Qyburn-
he never got that chain in his leg.
Not just a tooth.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that was the Girl Scout badge you didn't get. Was
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
The boy
Yeah,
the,
the filling a
Dentistry.
cap.
dentistry. Really good
So-
at resurrecting death.
Yeah. Is
Dent-
there any other spin-off duo you would want to see? Like what? Is there another like?
I'd like the domestic life of Gilly and Sam.
Yes.
Just like some sort of really like 30-something or This Is Us style.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
just day to day.
I love
The
that.
day to day.
I want like a Hudson and Rex show with Tormund and Ghost.
Right.
Just
Yes,
in the north,
in the north.
gallivanting.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I want a pod show, but I don't know who I want him to hang
Maybe
out
A
just
with.
go on
revolving,
his
yeah,
own.
a revolving companion. He
Yeah.
just has different ladies all the time.
It would be like Californication almost, like
Yeah.
just like a new woman every day.
Yes.
Project.
Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, just living it up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just love
Life
his
with
goofy
Pod.
smile.
He's
Yeah.
delightful. Love
the
it.
same smile as Gendry has because they're the same person.
Yeah,
we
they
had
are the same.
Yeah, we had some
They
some
are not
people
the
on
same.
YouTube
Exactly the
who
same.
completely agreed.
Yeah.
I
with
disagree.
me.
Listen,
That,
everyone's gonna disagree with me
yeah,
all the
same
time
cat.
on YouTube.
If either one of them
my hot takes.
rolled up into the Stormlands, they'd be like, "Hey, it's a Baratheon."
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
100%
I'm never gonna win this argument.
No, not gonna happen.
So what's one thing you hope?
Oh, Aaron wants to see a show about Pod searching for love,
Yeah.
Aw, guys.
Yeah.
Pod.
or just spreading the love,
Spreading the
just
love.
giving everybody a
Listen,
good time.
He's
Pod.
good at it.
Yeah, oh Pod.
His big dick magic. Is that what that is? I think he has
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
All
it
right.
seems that way.
I don't think he does.
Or he sings a nice song.
No.
Hard to say.
No, I think Brienne has that.
Okay, yeah.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll flip that around. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did some hot takes already, but is there anything?
I think next
anything you
episode-
really, really hope does happen or doesn't happen. We'll say we'll do that.
I think everyone's gonna die next episode.
Everyone.
I think we'll be left with like
Crickets in the final
7
episode.
characters.
A monologue, like a Spalding Gray monologue for the
Yes.
final. It's one,
Yeah,
one
and, like,
character on
just Varys.
It's
Or-
Varys or Samwell and a table
Yeah.
with
It'll
a
be
glass
like-
of water.
Yeah, or it'll be like an epilogue
Yeah.
for like an hour and a half.
It's too much epilogue.
I don't think everyone's gonna die.
It's way too much.
I think
That's fair.
I think a few major characters will die next week.
Yeah.
Are we expecting John or Danny to die next week?
No, not to the last week.
Really?
All bets are off for me because I was way off on when the Night King dies. So I'm not even gonna take a guess there.
I think Jamie might die next week.
You
Oh.
do? I think
Do we think
Cersei
Cersei
dies.
bites
So
us?
Cersei dies then.
I don't know. I think Euron's gonna die next week. I think Jamie's gonna die next week.
I think Cersei dies before Jamie.
You do?
Yeah. I'm putting it out there.
Who
I
do you
don't know
think's
why,
gonna kill
but I think
Euron?
that.
Do you think Yara's gonna come back? 'Cause
Yeah, I think
last we
Yara's
heard
gonna
Yara
be,
was
like-
hanging out in
That'd
like in the Iron Island.
Iron
Yeah,
Island.
she's gonna be like a Deus Ex Machina.
We need her because
Mm.
she's
Show up
gotten
and kill
nothing.
Euron.
We've had
Interesting.
nothing from her this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, she-
One promotion point, and then we need
I
her.
love Yara.
Yeah.
I do too, and they can't.
Yeah.
They have to have her come back. Yeah, I like. It'd be nice if the people who die by someone they should die from. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean by that? Like,
Totally.
like fine, Euron kills a dragon, but Qyburn killing, like, I think there could have been more satisfying people that killed
The dragon. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that awkward scene that was done clearly just to put Yara out of being a hostage and into being at the Iron Islands. That's a lot of heavy lifting to do. They must need her there for something.
Yep.
Yes,
The question
I
is
agree.
for what?
Yeah. Yeah, they really are, like, they brought up a lot of people, too, right? So it's like the new Prince of Dorne.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Who the heck that is?
I don't know. Eligible
he's-
bachelor.
He's joined the alliance with Dany, or he's pledged allegiance to Dany. And who else? Well, now Gendry is Lord of the Riverlands.
And they're gonna have Bronn. be
Bronn.
Ron
Highgarden.
Highgarden. So they're sort of like starting to repopulate-ish.
Well, they got some lordships to hand out.
Well,
Yeah.
like, who's living there now? Are they gonna be mad they're gonna get evicted?
when shows up and
Yeah.
he's like, listen, I'm
Everybody, you're out.
It's mine.
They'll be like, this is my house. Go away.
Yeah.
Aaron projects that Jaime's going to kill Cersei, Yara's going to kill Euron, and Arya will kill the Mountain. That's what Aaron's thinking. Are you on board with your team?
I think so. I like the idea that during Clegane Bowl, Arya, there is the line, "Are you gonna leave me to die if I'm hurt again?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Probably." So I can see his body being in the middle of the
Yeah,
Yep.
I
thing,
think the Mountain
and-
kills the Hound,
and
then Arya kills the Mountain.
something like
Something
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
Or they double thrust into each other's bellies, and they both die, and then she says something to him.
Or you just hear
And then,
like
like,
the
take
faint
space.
screaming of Arya, and then she shows up and stabs someone.
That's just
That's
her
her
move
move.
now.
Yeah.
Well, her faceless thing is her faceless thing gonna
Gonna come into
I
play?
don't know.
Does she have any
The
faces in
magic?
that bag of
like
hers?
Jaime's
Oh,
face.
always.
Just
is-
Walder Frey's.
Does she get Jaime's face and be the one who kills
Kills
Cersei? Because she
I
did
don't
say
know.
Cersei was on her list.
She did say that, but
But so
like,
was- I
Beric
mean-
Dondarrion was on her list. Like
yeah,
lots
I
of
think
people.
she's grown past her list.
I mean, I think Cersei. So she does have some things to finish off. So I feel like the Mountain and Cersei are still, and potentially I've heard some rumors about Dany that she ends up killing Daenerys, which I would find that hard.
What
to
would be a
believe.
satisfying death for Dany?
Old age, surrounded by loved ones.
Yeah.
I think
the unpopular
John.
opinion.
I think John killing her would be the only.
Yeah.
I think
satisfying
John
way for
killing
to
her.
die.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll. But then the only thing
Or
I don't
Jaime.
like about that is like the whole Ygritte thing. and,
Doing it again.
like, Having
Yeah.
to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a repeated beat there that I don't really love.
I'm hoping Daenerys kills Jon, and then Arya kills Dany for killing Jon.
Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can see that.
I could get into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of this, like, what order of death would
Because
you
all
like
these
to
people
see?
need to die.
Yeah.
They all
don't
need to
know.
die for the ending to happen.
I don't know. I think some of them. I don't think they do.
All
do
the,
you think
all, the
will die?
eligible monarchs need to be out of the picture, I think.
Maybe I just don't. I don't like. This is I've thought about. I've said this today. I don't. Ending this show is. I do feel it a very difficult task. Ending this show, because as you said, they created these boxes,
Mystery
and
box, yeah.
no matter what, you got to make choices when you're creating this stuff. And at some point, they're going to make a choice that people don't like, as we we're talking about on the couch. I don't know what will be satisfying, and I don't think that I will be full of joy if Dany and Jon are dead. Do you know what I mean? Like I won't go, yes, they're not on the throne. Like I won't have that joy.
No.
And I don't know what I'll feel. I'll go, oh, that happened. Like that's how I'll feel. I literally won't be moved.
But I feel like joy isn't the thing
I
the
don't
show
mean joy.
gives us.
I don't mean joy, but like
Satisfaction.
sitting joy. You know, like that's a good show.
Right.
Sitting joy.
You know that thing where you go,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah, they did.
That thing.
For me, I have always been really connected to Varys and the idea of the realm. For me, I would want the show to somehow. I don't need for it to be a happy ending. Like I don't need for it to be all wrapped up in a bow. In fact, that might really actually irritate me.
Yeah.
But I think that to have some sense that the realm, that like those people, all the people we don't see, who are trying to live their lives in Westeros in the middle of this ridiculous, these wars that keep happening.
Hot pie.
Hot pie? What's happening with a hot pie?
Hot pie's gonna take the throne.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Dornish people who are just trying to make wine.
yeah, like I just want
And love.
Yeah, wine
make
and love.
wine and love. Yeah,
That's what Dorne is for.
that's right. I just want some sense that whoever is in charge, whether that's one person or many people, however the system works out, that it's not in the hands of a tyrannical force. Like I just, with the way the world is, I cannot
Yeah. Interesting.
manage if that's how it ends.
Well, there's two ways to end something this epic. There's like the Dune move,
Yeah.
where you have a
alert.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
If
If
you
you
don't
haven't
watch
read
Dune.
Dune or watched
Watch
Dune,
the
you're
movie.
like years, decades behind. So I don't feel bad about
so
this.
much judgment.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Catch up. But in Dune, it's a god emperor who will live for 4,000 years. And you're like, well, fuck, that's government. That's like long range planning for the first time. It's not just some jackass planning for 4 years and then hoping to get reelected. But a king has this problem where every 30 to 60 years they're dead, and then who knows who's next. And so you wind up being in a situation where you need a god emperor or a system. And if the system is a parliament, if the system is a Varys and a Sansa and a Tyrion and all of these people who are able to come to quorum, and then no one person can be the complete idiot to screw it up, then you wind up with the like, yay, the Emperor's dead kind of Star Wars ending.
Right.
And I feel like the Star Wars ending is the way this is aiming. Because, I mean, unless Drogon sits on the throne, there's no, like, God Emperors kicking around.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to figure something out. So I don't think any of the people... I will be disappointed if Jon ends up on the Iron Throne, because I don't...
He's not qualified.
He's not...
He shouldn't.
They have not built that story in a way that is satisfying, I don't think. Like, that wouldn't feel like a satisfying get. I think he has... I like Jon for lots of reasons, and I think he's valuable, but I don't think he's the...
I don't think he will.
No,
He's
I don't
not
think so
monarch
either.
here.
That would
No,
be a
he'll
really
die.
strange
He
choice.
handed up that King in the North crown at his first available option.
Yeah.
And
Like-
same with the Lord
Commandership gives it up.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm dead. Bye.
He also said, like, you know, if I die before Battle of the Bastards, if I die again, don't bring me back. And so I think, you know, he's lived and died and come back, and, you know, I think what would he be? Jon doesn't have a kind of massive overreaching purpose. He didn't, you know.
He served it.
He
The
he
Night
did.
King is gone. So the thing Jon needed to do as Lord Commander, as the as the person who was a wildling, as the person who like knew everything there was to know about the North, he did the thing he needed to do.
And I think
And he
that's
also was
why-
terrible at planning a battle,
And
which means there's nothing good to happen with him going south.
I think that's also why people feel like he is very aimless in the past couple of like even in the episode where the Night King dies, he wasn't the person who did that. So it's sort of like, what is his purpose now?
Erin is giving us a very Brexit opportunity here, where she says, "What about 7 separate kingdoms? They can trade stuff and live in harmony. Instead of the European Union, we just break it all back up."
Brexit it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might. I don't know. It's really wide open. This episode was really surprising to me. I don't know why, though. I don't know what I expected. I didn't really have a concrete expectation, but I think we stayed a really long time in Winterfell, and I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that party was a nice little
Yeah.
decompression.
Yeah.
But then, because these are feature-length episodes, this one was like 80 minutes, we're at the point where you can kind of have 2 episodes. Like
It sort of
40,
was.
40 minutes is the length of an hour of television, more or less.
Yeah.
So you've got the one episode of everything like, hey, look how relaxed we are. And then the next episode of, oh, shit. And so I think the way these episodes were structured, it felt like 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was a lot, and I thought that they spent a lot of time at the beginning with that kind of fan fiction
Yeah.
feel, and I hope that next week's episode, there's some really satisfying...
I think it's all going to go down.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it. I mean, you can't get more riled up than either of those women
Yeah,
are.
then snarling Daenerys. Yeah.
And also, like, the penultimate episode is usually the episode where shit hits the fan.
And they don't have anything to set up for next season. All of the spin-off series are prequels. So, like, they can spend the next 2 feature film length episodes just settling accounts.
Yep, and Cersei
Yeah.
blowing everything up.
Do you think that Varys gets killed for trying to, like... Yeah, you do?
No, I think he succeeds.
You think he
gets-
survives?
I think Varys is one of the guys who makes it to the end.
I have always thought that, but now I don't know.
I don't think so. I think she's going to kill him. I think Dany's going to kill him.
Interesting.
Oh boy. Okay.
Jeez.
Well, I hope. Let us know what you think. I know last week for our episode last week we had tons of great YouTube comments. and
Yeah,
people-
YouTube
so that
was on
great.
fire last week,
Yeah.
and that was awesome. It was great to see all those comments, and we hope to see some more great comments. We're looking forward to
Yeah.
talking to you guys. I do everything I can was this part of the song?
I left this here.
Oh man, it's like we're some kind of amateur TV show just leaving a Starbucks cup on
man.
for the whole episode.
What is the state of the world that like that gets talked about more than all like major things?
And what
happening in the
what
world?
did you read that scene also had Benioff and Weiss
Oh, yeah.
as cameos? They were in that scene.
They were in that scene. So you know the part of that big hall scene where Tormund and Jon are talking and Tormund's drinking and spilling everywhere. The two
showrunners and writers of this episode.
played I was gonna say White
Baristas?
Walkers, but
Wildlings.
Wildlings.
Wildlings, sorry.
They played Wildlings, and they you'll see them if you look closely.
One of them's wearing a big beard and the
Yeah.
other one has mutton chops.
And so I saw a great tweet that was like, you mean to tell me that they were in that scene, they had cameos in that scene, and they still didn't see the Starbucks
You know
cup on
what?
the table?
I bet you it's Benioff's friggin' coffee.
Yeah, there you go. I love how
Typical Benioff.
Benioff is
Every
the one
time.
who gets the shade and not Weiss.
No. Benioff.
There could be a nice crossover like for Starbucks, so they could have like a Westerost.
Yes,
that.
yes, yeah.
Well,
Or-
considering all the product
Sure.
placements for Valyrian Steel.
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so
could
funny.
be nice.
I loved all the jokes too online. I mean, it's been very funny all day. The jokes about how many spelling errors for Daenerys' name at
Yeah.
Starbucks. Like, how many ways did
Right.
they spell her name?
Or the joke that George R. R. Martin spells everyone's name totally bonkers because Starbucks. Makes perfect sense. Like, go try to spell, Daenerys. Try to spell Robert. It's gonna come out Robert Glover.
Oh, Robert
Glover,
Glover.
Robert.
Yeah.
Good old
Dick
Robert.
on.
Dick
Whoever
on
that
Charlie,
is.
Rick on, Dick on. Yeah, hilarious.
All right, guys. Well, we
it's-
have 2 episodes left.
Yeah, 2 episodes. And so we'll be back next Monday. and the
8 p.m.
following
Eastern
Monday.
Standard Time. We've been able to
talking.
do this every week now.
Yeah, it's been really great. Thanks for joining us, friends. And you guys are already done your wine.
Yeah.
I'm a slow burn
It was
here.
a Dornish Red. It was enjoyable.
Slow burn. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you
Cheers.
next week.
week.
Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones.